Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome to the channel. So, why do dads tell awesome jokes? To help kids become awesome grown ups. Today, we're taking a look at heat tunnel vision. Now, this is an expansion to heat pedal to the metal from Days of Wonder. So, heat tunnel vision, the expansion to heat pedal to the metal from Days of Wonder, is going to basically give you two more tracks, a couple more sponsor cards, and some more garage cards. All right, and another season. All right, the tracks are going to offer some tunnels. You're going to get some more cicanes. You're also going to get the aggressive legends are going to be continuing on that. So, what I want to do is I'm going to explain what this expansion has to offer. I'm not really going to explain how to play. You can go to my base game review for that one. So, I'm just going to explain what this one has to offer, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts. So what are we going to get inside this box? Well, first of all, we're going to get a rule book. We're going to get a new score pad, just in case you're playing a whole lot of solo games. You need more of those score pads. But we're also going to get another double-sided track board. Okay, one side's going to have Spain, and the other side's going to have the Netherlands. And I'll talk more about those tracks here in a minute. You're also going to get 6 more stress cards, because you might need those. You're going to get 9 more heat cards, because, well, you always need more heat cards. But you're also going to get some new sponsorship cards. You're going to get 12 more advancement cards. Now, this is going to be for the purple card, which they're now offering. So now we're going to have 6, 7. This will be the 8th card that's going to be offered. You're going to get the 1965 season, which is 4 event cards. You're also going to get the 2 track cards. You're going to go along with the tracks. Plus, you're going to get the player mat, the gear pawn, and you're going to get all the starting cards you're going to need for that. Okay. Now, what does this game offer? Well, let's look at the tracks. Okay, so the Spain track, what it's going to do is it's going to offer, or it's going to provide tunnels. Okay, now tunnels are a little bit different, because in tunnels, if you end your turn and you're on a tunnel space, you cannot discard cards. Okay, because normally at the end of your turn, you can take whatever extra cards in your hand, minus your stress and heat in those, and you can just discard them and then draw back up. You cannot do that if you're inside of a tunnel. Now, there are some things that you still can do, so bear this in mind. And there is a note in the rulebook on this. Your cooldowns. Cooldowns are not discarding. Okay, so you can still do your cooldowns. And there's also one other thing you can do in the events. It's not discarding. Scrapping. Okay, scrapping is also still allowed in tunnels, because scrapping isn't discarding as well. Anytime you're basically taking something from your hand, putting in the discard pile, that's discarding. If you're taking it and you're putting in your engine, you're not. But I think scrapping was, or cooldown was, actually going from your engine over. Okay, but there you go. So tunnels, they're really cool. I do like that. You have to be very careful, because sometimes if you know you're going into a corner and you know you need to keep or you need low cards, and you got a handful of high cards and you want to discard those high cards, well, if you're going to stop in a tunnel, you're not going to be able to do that. So you have to be very careful. Now, the cicanes that are offered, they're going to be the same as in the previous heavy rain. Okay, basically you're going to have your 2 different corners, and you can actually go through both those corners in one move. But you're still going to have to pay the heat if you overshoot both those corners. So if it's a 4 corner and you go at a speed of 5, each one of those is going to cost you a 5. Now, you also have the aggressive legends as well. The aggressive legends are going to have the little chevron that's going to be above the 0, 1, 2, or 3s. Okay, and what that does is if the legend starts in one of those spaces, they can actually go through multiple corners as well. Okay, and you look at the number of chevrons that are above it, and that actually tells you how many corners they can go through. Okay, so you'll see 1 or 2 chevrons that are going to be on that. The aggressive legends is just a really, really great thing. The last one you're going to get is you're going to get a new symbol on your garage cards and your sponsorship cards, and that is drafting. Now, drafting is a little purple card with a number on it, and drafting, what it lets you do is let you move an extra number of spaces equal to whatever that is. Now, the extra spaces you move, you cannot go through another car, Okay, but you have to end beside or behind another car when you're done with your drafting move. Okay, so you have to make sure you take that in consideration. So, like if you do your drafting move and it still puts you 2 spaces away from another car, you can't do it. Okay, so you still have to end. Basically, you have to end to where you would be in like a slipstreaming position, for example. Okay, and if you have multiple cards that give you that ability, you can actually use multiple as you need them. Okay, so the drafting is actually really cool. You just got to be careful of that, how that works, and pay attention to those. Now, the last thing you're going to get is you're going to get the championship system. What is it, 1965, I think it is. Yeah, so you're going to get 4 more event cards for the 1965 season. So now you can play through, it's just one more season you're going to be able to play up through, and you're just going to keep going. It's like I said, it's 4 cards in that. To me, those championship system is really good. I really like playing those seasons, especially I like playing with a solo. And this one here is now going to give you that other car. So you're going to be able to play with, say, this car, and you can play with the core game of 6 cars. So you have 7 cars on the field when you're playing it, if you're doing it solo. But that's everything this one has to offer. All right, let me give you my final thoughts now. Okay, so what do I think about this expansion? Because I really liked Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the water that was on the track in Japan and whatnot. But Heat Tunnel Vision, it offers something a little bit more that I really like. And I really like that Spain track. Right now, I think that Spain track is my favorite track. I love the tunnels. I like the fact that you have to pay attention to your cards when you go into that tunnel, especially when you're coming out of that tunnel, okay? Because you cannot discard cards. So if you have to discard cards and you're in that tunnel, you just can't do it, okay? So you have to try to prepare for that ahead of the time, okay? The other thing about Spain that I like is it is a super long track. It is a 1-lap track, and it has a lot of corners on it. I think if I remember right, when you're using the weather, I think it uses all of the square corner tiles. Maybe not one, but I think it uses almost all of them. It is a long track, but I'll tell you what, it is a really, really super fun track. Not only does it have the tunnels, it does have a couple of chicanes on it as well. So the aggressive legends are coming into play. Everything comes into play. The only thing it doesn't have is the flooding. Okay, if they put flooding in that, oh my gosh, it would have everything. Okay, great track. Now, the other one was the Netherlands. So the Netherlands isn't a real super long track. It's a 3-lap track. Okay, so it's a pretty fast track, and you can actually really open up your car on that one. I mean, you're going to get some high speeds on that one, and that's a lot of fun. I always like being able to get on tracks where I can get up into 4th gear and I can try to get those high speeds. And to me, it's really fun, especially when you get those high speeds, and then you got to drop down into a really slow corner. So you're going from high speeds into, like, say, a 2 or 3 corner, because then you're just really dropping down those gears and you're burning that heat to try to double shift down or do whatever you need to do. A lot of fun. Okay. The chicanes, they're the same, and this one is everything else. Okay. Just like in Heavy Rain. So there's no modifications to the chicanes. The corners all still work the same, and your corner tile is still going to work for both of those. And the aggressive legends, I believe, is the same in this one, although I don't remember having the double chevron over the top of the aggressive legends in Heavy Rain. Or not, but basically the aggressive legends is working the same. It's just going to allow those legends to be able to go through multiple corners, is what it's going to be able to allow them to, which is really cool. Now, the draft feature on this is really interesting and really, really unique. I do like that draft feature. Now, the draft feature is one of those features that it's good, but it can also be bad. Okay, so say you get cards from the garage module or the sponsorship cards, and you have them in your deck and you have them in your hand, and you're in the lead the whole entire game. You're never going to be able to use them. Okay, that's one of the disadvantages to them. But if you have it in your hand and you are behind, then yes, you can use it. And if you're like in last place and you get that +1 bonus move, okay, that may be just enough you need to get that draft card to put you right behind somebody, and then you can do your slipstreaming. Now, the other cool thing about drafting, and I didn't cover this in the playthrough or how to play section, was the movement from the drafting is like slipstreaming. It does not count towards your move going through the corner. So if you can draft through the corners, then you're good. Okay, you're not paying that extra speed as long as your main speed is down. So if you use it wisely, or if you have a couple cars that allow you to do it, or you can combine it with your slipstreaming, you can make up a lot of spaces. I mean, you can easily get anywhere from, like, say, 2 to 6 spaces further down the track and really start passing up some other cars. Absolutely love that. Okay, and then the championship system, what can I say? It's just one more set of 4 tracks you're going to be able to play. You're going to be able to go through them. All those championship cards, they have their own abilities on them. They're going to happen. Plus, you get all the sponsorship cards. You get the media in their little corner doing its little thing. You're just having a whole lot of fun. I love the whole championship system in Heat Pedal Metal. I mostly play this game solo, so the championship system is how I play it for the most part because I don't usually just play one. If I'm going to play, I'm going to go do a championship, and then I may play 1 or 2 races a night, go back the next day, finish up the championship series, and see where I'm at. But all in all, great expansion. Like I said, I think I do like this one a little bit better than I do Heavy Rain, and that's mostly because I really like that Spain track. That Spain track is long and it is fun, and I like the really, really long, really, really technical tracks. Those are my favorite to play, and this one just massively offers it up. So, if you like Heat Pedal to the Metal and you want a little more, you want a couple more tracks, but you don't want something that's going to add a whole bunch more rules, I cannot recommend this enough. This is an exceptional expansion. I think this is actually better than Heavy Rain in my personal views, and I think it's one you'll definitely want to get. Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you to like this video on YouTube, Board Game Geek, Facebook, or even on X. Please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms, and I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And also, folks, if you like the videos that I do here, if you haven't done so already, I humbly ask that you click on the subscription button and even click on that bell and be notified when I drop new videos. Also, if you like the videos I do here, I also post videos over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. Over there, I'll do some reviews, unboxings, and playthroughs. I'll leave a link to Cody's channel down in the details below. So what kind of street does a ghost live on? A dead end.